fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and I have a huge book haul for you guys today. I was not planning on buying any new books to add to my shelves this year. I really wanted to focus on the books that have been on my shelves for a really long time. I wanted to focus on my ABC Author Challenge books, my 25 Days of Bookmas books. But this year's been pretty rough, just one thing after another, it seems like. So I kind of needed a mental health day. And one way that I just can unwind and relax a little bit is to go book shopping. So I went, when I'm filming this, it's the weekend. I went on Thursday in our little town. I hit up 3 different thrift stores and the little used bookstore that we have in town. And then this weekend, me and my husband went down to the bigger city, hit the bookstore down there, and we also hit Savers. The dogs needed new stuffed animals, and I looked at the books there as well. Got some children's books and then some adult books there. So I'm going to go through all these. There's 35 of them plus 3 that my husband picked out. So there is a lot, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, but this is probably going to be a longer video. Before we get into it though, if you guys could go ahead and give this video a like, it really helps out the channel, and then also subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on a thing. But let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to kind of go in order of the stops, just, for my own preference. I'm just like surrounded by books right now. So the first books, thrift store I went to, they actually had quite a few books. I was pleasantly surprised, and I ended up getting 4 books there. The first 2 I was not planning on getting these. I've seen them all over BookTube. They've definitely been on my radar, like maybe in the future I'll read them. But then I found them at the thrift store. And that is Raybearer and Redemptor by Jordan Ifueko. And like I said, I've seen these books all over BookTube, and definitely something that sounded interesting to me. So when I saw them at the thrift store, I picked them up. I think for these 4 books I paid $1.75. So really, really good deal. And I like that it has the sprayed edges. I love the colors. I love oranges and purples. I'm just going to read the synopsis for Raybearer in case you aren't familiar with the duology. I'm not going to read the synopsis for the second one, but it says, Teresai has always longed for the warmth of family. She was raised in isolation by her mysterious, cunning, and often absent mother known only as the Lady. When Teresai comes of age, the Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire, Arisar, to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. If she's picked, she'll be joined with the other council members through the Ray, a bond deeper than blood. But the lady has other ideas, including a magical wish that Teresai is compelled to obey. Kill the Crown Prince once she gains his trust. So, those are the first 2 books I got. I'm just going to set them on the floor. And then the next one I got, this just sounded really interesting. I've never heard of this author or read him. But it's Invictus by Ryan Graudin. And this one is like a time travel book, which all the time travel books I've read so far I've really, really enjoyed. So it says, Faraway Gaius McCarthy was born outside of time, the son of a time traveler from 2354 AD and a gladiator living in ancient Rome. Far's very existence defies the laws of nature. All he's ever wanted was to explore history for himself, but after failing his entrance exam into the government program, Far will have to settle for a position on the black market, captaining a time-traveling crew to steal valuables from the past. During a routine heist on the sinking Titanic, Far meets a mysterious girl named Iliad, who always seems to be one step ahead of him. Iliad has secrets, big ones, that will affect Far's life from beginning to end. Armed with the knowledge that history is not as steady as it seems, she will lead Far and his team on a race through time to set things right before the clock runs out. So this seemed really, really interesting, and like I said, I love the trope of like time travel and such. So hopefully y'all enjoy this one. Any of these books that you have read, definitely let me know in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed them or you didn't enjoy them. The next one, I just really like the cover, and the name of the book caught my attention, and that is Foundling by D.M. Cornish. And this is apparently book 1 in a series, so at least this is the first book. But it says, growing up at Madame Opera's estimable Marine Society for Foundling Boys and Girls, Rosamund Bookchild, a boy with an unfortunate name, has led a life sheltered from the dangers of the world. But this all changes the day the man with the strange red and pale blue eyes recruits him into the service of the Emperor. Rosamund has been drafted into the ranks of the half-continent's lamplighters, soldiers who protect the Empire's roads from all evil. Now Rosamund must begin the journey of his life, traveling the half-continent, a world full of people who can be as predatory as any monster he can imagine. And when he falls in with the mysterious and talented Europe, who can shoot electricity out of her body and call lightning down from the sky, he learns that some people can truly be lethal. And there's a little damage on the corner here, but I'm just going to tape that up and it'll be perfect. So, and this has like a ton of maps, a bunch of appendixes, a glossary of terms. Like, it seems pretty in depth for what seems to be either a young adult or middle grade book, and some like illustrations and such. So, really excited about this one. I think I'll enjoy it. And so those are the 4 I got at that thrift store, and like I said, I paid like $1.75. So really, really good deal there. The next one I went to is like a little church thrift store, and he gave me this book for free, The Great Controversy, celebrating the 500th anniversary of the Great Protestant Reformation. Little old man, I couldn't say no. So I might try to read this, and then obviously, if I don't enjoy it, I'll just donate it. You never know. I'm not opposed to like religious books, but not my favorite either. So I got that one for free. And then the other 2 I paid 50 cents for each. So the first one I got was Tony Hillerman, A Thief of Time. I recently read Anne Hillerman and really enjoyed it. I have another one of Tony Hillerman's books that I haven't read yet. And I just think this is an author I'm going to enjoy. And so since I came across it at the thrift store for 50 cents, I couldn't pass it up. Like I said, if I don't enjoy it, I'll donate it. It's not a huge deal, but I'm hoping this will be an author that I can collect. So this one says, a noted anthropologist vanishes at a moonlit Indian ruin where thieves of time ravage sacred ground for profit. When 2 corpses appear amid stolen goods and bones at an ancient burial site, Navajo tribal policeman Lieutenant Joe Leaphorn and Officer Jim Chi must plunge into the past to unearth the astonishing truth behind a mystifying series of horrific murders. So, obviously, a Leaphorn and Chi book, and really excited to have this one in the collection. I'll read it at some point. And then this one, I just kind of been in kind of a Western historical fiction type mood. And this is based on the true ordeal of Mary Ingalls, and it's called Follow the River. This one's by James Alexander Thom. And this one says, Mary Ingalls was 23, happily married, and pregnant with her 3rd child when Shawnee Indians invaded her peaceful Virginia settlement in 1755 and kidnapped her, leaving behind a bloody massacre. For months they held her captive, but nothing could imprison her spirit. With the rushing Ohio River as her guide, Mary Ingalls walked 1,000 miles through an untamed wilderness no white woman had ever seen. Her story lives on, extraordinary testament to the indomitable spirit of one pioneer woman who risked her life to return to her own people. So, just seems like something, again, I would enjoy. Obviously, that's why I picked it up. So, and then I went to the little used bookstore. Not quite a good of deal there as, the thrift stores, but I still, pretty good deal, and she was doing 20% off. And so I paid almost $15 for these 3 books. So the first one is another one I can check off my Nora Roberts list, and that is Private Scandal. This one is about 2 like talk show hosts that are kind of competitors, and the one takes over for the other one, and kind of ousts her. And then she also starts dating her old boyfriend as well. So lots of drama, it seems. And that's about all I know of it. There's not a synopsis on the book itself. So I'm just really trying to collect all her works. And so I was happy that I could check another one off. And then I got this one, which I'm probably going to add this to my May TBR if I have time, just because it just I'm really excited to read it. And that is Love, Life, and Elephants, an African love story by Dame Daphne Sheldrick. And so this is a memoir and it's based on her time in Africa. So it says the first person to successfully raise newborn elephants, Dame Daphne Sheldrick has saved countless African animals from certain death. In this indelible and deeply heartfelt memoir, Daphne tells of her remarkable career as a conservationist and introduced us to a whole host of orphans, including Bushy, a liquid-eyed antelope, and the majestic elephant Eleanor. Yet she also shares the incredible human story of her relationship with David Sheldrick, the famous Tsavo National Park warden whose death inspired the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust and Orphans Nursery, where Daphne works to this day. From her tireless campaign to preserve Kenya's wildlife to astonishing creatures she befriended along the way, Love, Life, and Elephants is alive with compassion and humor, providing rare insight into the life of one of the world's most fascinating women. So, really, really excited for this one. I think it's just going to be a good, heartwarming story, and I can't wait to read it. And then the other book I got at that store is The Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. I've been wanting to reread this. I read this back in like junior high. We read it for English class, and I just remember enjoying it so much. And so yeah, I've been wanting to reread it, and I saw it there, and it had both the Iliad and the Odyssey, so I was like, perfect, and picked it up as well. So that's the last book I got there. So like I said, 3 books for almost $15. And then the last little thrift store I went to didn't have a very good selection, but I did get a couple of books. The first one I got is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is just a book that I've always wanted to read and never have. I'm obviously familiar with the story just from people talking about it. I've never seen the movies either. I want to watch the newest Little Women because I love Emma Watson, and so I'm planning on reading this and then watching the movie at some point. But yeah, I just saw it there and I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to read it, so why not? And then the inside cover art is really pretty. So yeah, I got that one. And these I think I paid $1 for. So again, really, really good deal. And then this one, it doesn't have a dust jacket, so it didn't have a synopsis, but it just kind of caught my attention. And it's Children of the Lamp, a Hennatin adventure. Probably butchering that, but you can see that here. But I did look it up, and it said it's following these two 12-year-old twins who learn their jinn, and kind of just their learning curve. And their uncle takes them in and teaches them all about being a jinn and being able to grant wishes and such. So I'm really, really excited to read this and see what I think about it. And then the last book I got there, I know is not a book that I would typically enjoy, but it just really was really intriguing to me. And that is Presumed Puzzle by Parnell Hall. And what intrigued me was it has actual puzzles like word search or crossword puzzles and Sudoku puzzles in it to help you solve the case. So I just thought that was really, really cool. And it says, shocking crime of passion has Baker Haven buzzing. The puzzle lady gets more than she bargained for when she's hired to track down Paula Martindale's straying husband. She finds him all right, hacked to pieces on his living room rug, while his blood-drenched wife haunts the crime scene clutching a butcher knife. It's a tough spot for attractive young attorney Becky Baldwin. Paula is presumed innocent until proven guilty, but try to find one juror who's going to think so. It's up to Cora to find the evidence to save the day. She just has 2 problems. She's a witness for the prosecution, and every bit of evidence she finds in Paula's favor, from crossword puzzles to Sudoku to alibi witnesses, tends to indicate that Cora herself is a murderer. So, but yeah, you can see it has actual puzzles in there. So I just found that intriguing. I don't really like these types of like satirical murder mysteries. Um, so we're just gonna have to see if I enjoy it or not. But again, any of these books I don't enjoy, they'll just kind of be recycled again and go back. So those are all the books I got on Thursday. And then this weekend when we went shopping, I ended up getting the rest of these. So the first one, we went to Savers first, so I'll go through those first. And some of these, my husband was like, "Oh, you should get this one." They do a deal. It's you buy four, and you get a fifth one free. And so the first one I got is called Ever After by Kim Harrison, which is the first in a series. Um, so that's, you know, and it's Book of the Hollows series. So if I enjoy it, I have another series that I'll be collecting. But it says the ever after, the demonic realm that parallels our own is shrinking, and it's up to witch turned daywalking demon Rachel Morgan to stop it before the fragile balance between Inderlanders and humans fall apart. Of course, there's also the small fact that Rachel caused the ley line to rip in the first place, and the most powerful demon in the ever after, the Soul Eaters Kusak Shakura Kuru, has kidnapped her friend and her goddaughter as leverage in his quest for vengeance. If Rachel doesn't give herself up for execution, they will die. Rachel must team up with Elven Tycoon Trent Callamack, a partnership fraught with perils of the heart and soul to rescue those she loves. So it does sound interesting. It does seem right up my alley, but yeah, he convinced me to get that one. And then the next one is another like true story, and it's Never Cry Wolf by Farley Mowat, and the amazing true story of life among the Arctic wolves. So again, I've been watching a bunch of like the Crocodile Hunter and other animal shows on Discovery Plus, and so I've just kind of been in the mood for that lately. And this one says, more than half a century ago, the naturalist Farley Mowat accepted an assignment to investigate why wolves were killing Arctic caribou. Mowat's account of the summer he lived in the frozen tundra alone, studying the wolf population and developing a deep affection for these wild creatures who were of no threat to the caribou or man, is today celebrated as a classic of nature writing, at once a tale of remarkable adventure and an indelible record of the myths and magic of wolves. So, and this looks like it's going to be a really quick and easy read. The writing's pretty large, and it's not a very long book either. So, really, really excited to have that one. And then another one, my husband's like, "Oh, you should get this one." Is Larklight, a rousing tale of dauntless pluck in the farthest reaches of space by Philip Reeve. So you can see that there. And it says, it was just another normal morning in space when disaster struck. My sister Myrtle, who is quite irritating as girls generally are, and I faced the most awful peril, and we hadn't even had breakfast. A Mr. Webster was coming to visit. Visitors to our house were rare, and so a frenzy of preparation ensued, but it was entirely the wrong sort of preparation, as we discovered when we opened the door. This is the story of what happened next, and our dreadful and terrifying adventure to save each other and the known universe. So, again, seems like a young adult kind of book, or middle grade. There's some illustrations in there which look like they'll be enjoyable. And so yeah, just like a little, I guess, middle grade sci-fi. But like I said, it might be young adult. It seems more middle grade to me though, based on reading it. And then the next one I get, um, I've watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer so many times, like all through all the seasons, all the way through at least four times, if not more. So, I saw this one and it was said it was book one, so I had to get it. And it's Slayer from the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer by Kirsten White. And this one, of course, is into every generation a Slayer is born, one girl in all the world, a chosen one. She alone will wield the strength and skill to fight the vampires, demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the only Slayer, or at least she was. No one is prepared for the moment when thousands of unsuspecting potential Slayers are activated, the chosen one becoming chosen lots. And before magic is gone for good, there's just one last Slayer to be called. So, um, excited to have this one. It's a little bit dirty on the edges here, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me too much. It looks like it got ran over, but um, so yeah, we'll see. But I'm excited to try to read that since I do love the show a lot. And then another one, it's just another one I've seen all over BookTube, and since I saw it at the thrift store, I thought, why not? And that's Where the Crawdad Sing by Delia Owens. And so yeah, I thought I would pick this up. And in case you haven't seen it on BookTube, I'm sure you have, but it says, for years, rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. Perfect for fans of Barbara Kingsolver and Karen Russell, Where the Crawdads Sing is at once an exquisite ode to the natural world, a heartbreaking coming of age story, and a surprising tale of possible murder. Owens reminds us that we are forever shaped by the children we once were, and that we are all subject to the beautiful and violent secrets that nature keeps. So, I have been slightly interested in this one, just hearing people talk about it. So I do think I'll enjoy it. But like I said, I wasn't in any hurry to pick it up. So, and then I got some children's books, which I'm really, really excited about. The first one my husband convinced me to get, and I remember reading this when I was a little girl, and that is Trick or Treat Little Critter by Gina and Mercer Mayer. So, um, just a cute little picture book. But I do remember reading these when I was little, and so he convinced me to get it, and it was like $1, so why not? And then the next one I just thought sounded really cute. It's Secrets at Sea by Richard Peck. Um, and this one says, a family of mice are just a whisker away from the adventure of their lives. Secrets at Sea tells the tale of a brave family on a desperate and stormy journey, fighting against enormous forces hopelessly beyond their control. So, um, just a little chapter book with some cute illustrations. So excited to have that one as well. It does, seem cute. I like mice and the sea. This one just seemed cute, um, and kind of quirky, which is right up my alley, and that's called Flawed Dogs by Berkeley Breathe. Um, and it says, Sam the lion is actually a priceless dachshund, bred to be a show dog. More important, he's Heidi's best friend, and she needs one like never before. Living with her reclusive uncle is hard, but Sam has a way of making her feel soft and whole, until the day Sam is framed by a jealous poodle, Cassius, and is cast out by Heidi's uncle, alone on the wild streets, where he is roughed up by a world he was not bred for. Sporting a soup ladle for a leg, Sam befriends other banded dogs and journeys all the way to Westminster Dog Show, where his plan for revenge on Cassius takes an unexpected turn when he and Heidi spot each other after years of being apart. So it's just, I mean, look at that cover too. And so I think this will be a cute, quirky read, and I can't wait to read it. Then I found another Dear America book, which I'm kind of building up that collection. And so this one is My Secret War, The World War II Diary of Madeline Beck, Long Island, New York, 1941. And so the little blurb on the back here is June 12th, 1942. Tonight I got caught. I'm still shaking. I don't understand what happened, really. I was walking on the foggy beach. I heard voices and saw the shape of two men near the dunes. I turned back to go home, but one of the men called out and shined a flashlight on me, and I froze like a rabbit. The man angrily told me to halt, and he asked who I was and where I lived. I told him my name was Madeline Beck and gave him my address. He ordered me to turn around. I did, and he walked up to me in the dark and shined the flashlight right into my eyes. When I started to turn away, he said, "Look straight into this light, Madeline Beck." And I looked into the light, and I was blinded. And he said, "We're the Coast Guard. You did not see us here. You saw nothing." So, I really like the Dear America series. Obviously, I grew up with them, so there's kind of that nostalgia factor. And I definitely want to kind of build that collection and reread them. The ones that I did read, and then obviously read the ones that I didn't read. So that's another one. And then this one, it'll be interesting to see how I feel about it, because it features an autistic character, but kind of the way it's presented on the back is kind of negative. But it's How to Speak Dolphins, sorry, by Jenny Rorby. And so beautiful cover. My husband found this one as well. And it says Lily loves her half brother Adam, but his autism has taken over her life. And just the way that whole phrasing is right there is but I am interested in reading more books that feature disabled characters, especially autistic characters since I am autistic myself. But it's just he has autism and it's ruining her life is very, very negative and not cool. So, but anyway, it says Lily can't make friends or go out after school. Caring for Adam has forced her to become as much a mother as sister. Which again, where's the parents in this? Like, all these questions will be answered when I read it, obviously. But all Lily wants is for her stepfather Don to acknowledge that Adam has a real issue and to find some kind of program that can help him. Then maybe she can have a life of her own. When Adam has the opportunity to meet a young dolphin that was recently brought into captivity, Adam and the dolphin Nora bond instantly. Adam's as happy as he's ever been, and Don thinks this is the answer to Adam's problems. Though Lily sees how much Adam loves Nora, she also knows deep down that the dolphin shouldn't spend the rest of her life in captivity, away from her own family. There's got to be another answer for Adam. Can Lily help Nora regain her freedom without betraying her family? Um, and then it's Schneider Family Book Award winning author Jenny Rorby has created a deeply moving and important story about love, freedom, and letting go. So, I don't know, just the phrasing and such. It's like why autism does need, certain accommodations and such. It's not a negative thing, and I just didn't really like how the phrasing was on the back, but I am interested into reading it and maybe doing like a review on it, and talking more in depth on the issues and just bringing awareness. So those were the books I got at Savers, and now we're gonna jump over to the little bookstore we went to. And so the first four books I got were the Freedom series by Anne McCaffrey, or the Kateni series. And I have the last three books. I was missing the first book, which is Freedom's Landing, but I have the other three that I found at thrift stores, but they were all hardcover, and they didn't have the hardcover of Freedom's Landing, but I saw they had these and they all match. So I decided I would pick up all four of these and then donate the three hardcovers that I have, because I'd rather have the paperbacks anyway. I think they're easier to read, they fit easier on my shelves. And so I decided to get the matching set and then I'll donate the other three. But this basically follows what's her name? Chris. And then Zanal is like an alien race, and they get sent to this planet Kateni. And so the first one's about them landing on the planet, and then they're kind of left trying to get resources and such. And so then they kind of have to challenge the others and then try to steal back like their technology and such. So, and they kind of work with Earth, and Chris and Zanal have like a little love story that goes on and everything. So yeah, I'll be rereading the last two. I haven't read the second one, and then obviously I haven't read the first one because I didn't have it. So I'll be reading them in order since I've been reading them backwards up until now. So excited that I found those because I really enjoyed that series, and I'm not a big sci-fi person. So the fact that I have been enjoying that series is great because I'm not a huge sci-fi fan. And then the next two books I got, which there will be a video coming out if it hasn't already come out before this one. I read the Otherland series, which were the second book in the series I got for my 25 Days of Bookmas, and I bought the first one because I knew it was a book that I needed to read together, which this series is definitely a series to read all together. It's basically just one big long book that's broken up into four parts, which I've seen the reviews, that's an issue that a lot of people have, but knowing that that's how the books are, like you just know that and you read the series together. But again, another sci-fi kind of virtual reality world that I did not think I would enjoy. Loved the first 2 books. So I want to get the next 2 because obviously I really enjoyed the first 2. So the third one in that series is Mountain of Black Glass. And so I got this one. This one matches the other 2 I have. Could not find the last one at all. And so my husband managed to find it, and it's a big old hardcover, but at least I have it. And so here it is, and that's Sea of Silver Light. And again, this is by Tad Williams, his Otherland series. And it follows this group of people that end up trapped in like this virtual reality world called Otherland that was created by a bunch of rich, um, basically men. I think there's some women in there now, but the Grell Brotherhood. And so it's like this secret society, very exclusive virtual reality world, but they kind of end up getting trapped there, and they're trying to solve like some mysteries and such. So very, very good. Like I said, I read the first 2 books. I'm excited to read the next 2. Definitely going to be squeezing them in between all my other reads. They are very chunky. The first 2 took me like 2 weeks to read, so it kind of took over reading some of my others. So these ones I'm just going to kind of read a couple chapters each night while I read other books. So and then the next one I got is another Nora Roberts one that I can check off the list. So I think I'm down to 19 that I still need. And this is Remember When. It's Nora Roberts with JD Robb, which JD Robb is her like alter ego writer that she writes like the thriller books with. And so my husband's like, well, why is it her and her other like pen name? And I don't know, honey. Like I don't know, but it is. But because it's also Nora Roberts, like I have to have it in the collection because I don't really like her JD Robb books. So I don't have those. I'm not planning on collecting those. But it says in part 1, Nora Roberts introduces us to Lane Tavish, known to the folk in Angels Gap, Maryland, as the proprietor of Remember When, an antique treasures and gift shop. They have no idea that she used to be Elaine O'Hara, daughter of the notorious con man Big Jack O'Hara, or that she grew up moving from place to place, one step ahead of the law. But Lane's past has just caught up with her. Her long lost uncle has visited her shop, leaving a cryptic warning before dying in the street, run down by a car. Soon afterward, Lane's home is ransacked. Now it's up to her and an enigmatic stranger named Max Gannon to find out who's chasing her and why. The answer lies in a hidden fortune, a fortune that will change Lane's life. And then in part 2, I guess is the J.D. Robb side. J.D. Robb takes us to New York City in 2059 and puts Detective Lieutenant Eve Dallas, which is part of her series, on the case. The treasure that Lane and Max sought has never been fully recovered, and now someone else is pursuing the missing gems. Someone who's willing to kill for them. Sharp-witted and sexy, Eve is used to traveling in the shadowy corners outside the law. In a future where crime meets cutting-edge technology, she will attempt to track down the diamonds once and for all and stop the danger and death that has surrounded them for decades. A thrill ride of a novel that blends present day romance and futuristic suspense. Remember When is a tale of deceit and secrets, of strong women and fascinating men, a brilliant combination of the incomparable talents of the 2 sides of Nora Roberts. So I'm not a huge fan of the JD Robb stuff, so I don't know. I'll probably enjoy like the first half of the book, and we'll have to see how much I enjoy the second half. But still, again, part of the collection. I just want to have her complete collection of works. So really excited that I at least got another one checked off. Kind of bummed I couldn't get more, but that's okay. So, and then the next 5 I got is Boxcar Children books. I had one which was a horse related one, and so I was like, I really enjoyed the Boxcar Children, and I used to get these like every month as a kid, and for whatever reason, I got rid of all of them except the horse one, which I understand why I kept the horse one because I really enjoy horses. But I've decided I want to go ahead and collect them again. So they had a bunch of them, but they were kind of jumping all around. So I got a special one, which is Mystery on the Ice, which Henry, Jesse, Violet, and Benny used to live in a boxcar. Now they have a home with their grandfather, an adventure right in Greenfield. And then this all starts with some special news from cousins Joe and Alice. Then a figure skating troupe comes to town, and a blizzard too. Not long afterwards, a house nearby is burglarized, and the evidence seemed to point themselves to the skaters. Once again, the Boxcar Children find themselves investigating a mystery. So, if you're not familiar with Boxcar Children, it's about these children. They originally moved to Boxcar, I think after their parents died, and then they end up living with a grandpa, but they're always solving mysteries and such. And rereading the horse one that I kept, I can't remember which number it is, but I was surprised at how well developed these books are. So, like I said, I do want to collect them. So, this one is when they're still living in the boxcar, and then you have Surprise Island, and these are all by Gertrude Chandler Warner. And then I have number 3, which is Yellow House Mystery, and then number 4 is Mystery Ranch. Um, so yeah, I got the first 4, and then I think it jumped up to some higher numbers, and so I really kind of want to just get them in order. So I got those, and then those are all the books that I got. Like I said, 35 books, quite the haul. And then my husband found these ones, which he knew he didn't have, by R.A. Salvatore. And he has a ton of R.A. Salvatore books. So you wanted to get this one. It's missing the third one, which is the Dame. But he got the Highwayman, the Ancient, and then the Bear. But like I said, it's missing the third one. The Bear is actually the fourth one. And it says, long ago in a distant land, a lonely young man struggles to discover who he is and where he belongs. He carries the blood and magic of two peoples, a sword of an unimaginable power, and the staggering potential for great good or greater evil. R.A. Salvatore takes his readers back to his signature world of Corona, where he introduces a fascinating new hero destined to become a fantasy legend. It is God's year 54, many years before the demon wars in the land of Corona. The roads are unsafe to travel, where goblins and bloodthirsty powries search out human prey. In the savage world, princes feast while peasants starve, and two religions struggle fiercely for control. Bran Dynard, a monk of the fledgling religion of Abel, returns from his mission in a far off land with two prizes, a book of mystical knowledge and a new wife, the beautiful and mysterious Senwi. But the world he left behind has changed, and his dream of spreading the powerful wisdom he learned to his fellow monks is soon crushed. Forced to hide Senwi and his precious book, Bran must decide whom he can trust and where he should now place his faith. 20 years later, the situation has grown darker and more desperate. The land is devastated by war, and even the rich and powerful live in fear. Only the masked highwayman travels freely, his sword casting aside powers and soldiers with equal ease. The people long for a savior, but is the highwayman on a mission of mercy or vengeance? So yeah, those sound interesting too. I might read them eventually, trying to get through all my own stuff, and then I'll probably read some of his. But yeah, he got those 3, and like I said, I'll be trying to find that third one that he's missing at some point. But those are all the books, 38 books in total. Like I said, 3 for my husband. And yeah, I'm really excited to have all these, even though, like I said, I wasn't planning. I'm still planning on prioritizing the other books that I have on my shelves, but I might sneak in 1 or 2 of these here and there as I go through the year. Otherwise, they'll just be there for next year. Anyway, I know this video is longer, so I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Again, if you've read any of these books, definitely let me know down in the comments below. There will be a list of them in the description in case you forgot which ones I mentioned. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below whether you read them and what you thought of them, or if any of these sound interesting to you. And yeah, happy reading, everyone. Bye.